Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true. I am found, I am yours, I am loved, I'm made pure, I have life, I can breathe, I am healed, I am free. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak what is true, 'cause I am found, I am yours, I am loved, I'm made pure, I have life, I can breathe, I am healed, I am free. You are strong, you are sure, you are light, you endure, you are good, always true, you are light, breaking through. I am found, I am yours, I am loved, I'm made pure, I have life, I can breathe, I am healed, I am free, 'cause you are strong, you are sure, you are light, you endure, you are good, always true, you are light, breaking through, you Let's all join together in song. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart, Lord. Speak So I'll take a nice deep breath with your hand on your heart, feel your heartbeat, and just spend a few moments in quiet contemplation of the prayer you just prayed, of the songs, the words you just sang. Here's my heart, Lord. Understanding that we are being purified in our minds by allowing our minds to be open to the words of Spirit and not to the words of the ego. Here's my heart. Here's my life. Here's my dedication. My dedication to the spiritual path, to living A Course in Miracles. Let's see ourselves as those conduits of kindness and love, doing our part in the world wherever we can, to make shifts of consciousness within ourselves and to be an example of peaceful response instead of an upset reaction to whatever it is that comes our way. Learning from our past mistakes that we are able to correct, forgiving ourselves and forgiving others. Every day we pray harder and rise higher, making a commitment to love steadily and forgive readily. Seeing the great rays of light fill us with the desire to truly be instruments of peace. Peace within ourselves, peace beyond ourselves as we interact with others. Peace between us, our brothers and sisters. Peace between us and those who are not our brothers or sisters because we think that they're not, because we see them differently, we judge them, we forget that they are indeed our brothers and sisters. Let us see them now in the light of love and compassion and kindness. Here's my heart, Lord. Press against your chest. Feel your heartbeat against your hand. Almost as if you can fill your hand with your heartbeat and all that it represents. Then send it out. Send that heart filled with love and kindness out into the world. Deep breath. And we join together now, brothers and sisters on this path. Welcome, welcome everyone. Happy Holy Thursday. It's the first Thursday in October. Happy October. I don't know about anywhere else, but in Florida, this is the month of pumpkin spice everything. Everywhere you go, it's pumpkin spice lattes and brownies and cookies. It's a time of shifting our weather. We actually see a shift in the weather. We get to have some cool breezes at night now. It's very lovely. It's very lovely. So we take that loveliness and we enter into a sense of awe and appreciation for being together. I missed you last week. Whenever there's a fifth Thursday in the month, I take that Thursday off to have time with my family council. It's a board meeting with a twist. We spend time together and put for you at home, we put a Throwback Thursday live stream. And last week I put a live stream from back in December of 2018. So today we begin a new month. I want to pick up a little bit of what I was starting to talk about 2 weeks ago when I was ending our time together with some thoughts that were shared from my dear friend, Reverend Joanna Gabriel, who passed away. she was talking about being peace in the world and the different avenues that we can explore within ourselves to be peace. And one of the things she talked about was being an agent of repair, to be able to be someone who can do what we can to repair some of the difficulties, some of the tearing away of humanity. And when I went back to look deeper into what she was writing about, it came from a concept from the Jewish tradition called Tukam Olam. I apologize if I'm saying it improperly. Or maybe it's Tikam Olam. And Tikam Olam specifically means repair of the world. It's the Hebrew word for repair. And some of the thoughts that came up when I was reading about it, it's more of a mysticism approach, like from Kabbalah. It says social action, social justice, to provide care where we can, whatever is within our ability, within our own self. So it says, according to this idea, Adam was intended to restore the divine sparks through mystical exercises, but sin interfered. And in the Course in Miracles, we would say separation interfered, mistakes interfered. As a result, these conflicting desires resulted. It says good and evil, and again, we don't use the concept of evil here. We just talk about the things that we have aversion to, the problems, the more ego-driven concepts, fear, sadness, divisiveness, separation. It says that the light was shattered, and most of the light returned to its divine source, but some light attached itself to broken shards. So Adam became imprisoned within the shards. That's why in the Hebrew Bible, the Jewish tradition, it says Adam fell asleep, but it never tells you that he woke up. You never hear about Adam waking up. The spiritual path is the waking up. A Course in Miracles is a tool toward waking up. So waking up is a part of being filled with the light and living from the light so we can be the light in the world. And what can we do? We can provide repair for the places where there's been hurt. And that's where this concept comes up, Tikam Olam. Acts of kindness. Taking responsibility for fixing what's wrong within your ability to do so. And so when I was thinking about, well, how do we do that and where do we do that, I came across an essay by Clarissa Pinkola that was shared with me. And she said, and she had nothing to do with this other concept. It just so happened to be that it was a part of this essay that I was reading, where she says, our task is to mend the parts of the world that are within our reach. The parts of the world that are within our reach. So we have these acts of Tikam Olam, these acts of kindness, these attempts to do our repair where we can. It's not asking us to do these great, unbelievable feats that are beyond us. It's just saying right where you are. Right where you are. Even if it's just to change your mind about something. Even if it's just to be kind instead of expressing an upset. If it's the ability to be in a mindset of forgiveness. That is the shift that we can do. That is the repair that we can do. Because we repair ourselves first. We work on the repair within ourselves. And so as I came across these concepts, I was reading chapter 24. And chapter 24, I got very enamored with chapter 24. I really love it. I think it's filled with wonderful gems, and I want to share them with you today. Every now and then I get a chapter that I just keep going back to. I think 8 and 12 are chapters that I've really been very taken by, because they say so many things that almost encapsulate everything that is true about the spiritual path. And about our dedication to making these little changes, to making these little Tikam Olam opportunities. It starts out by saying, chapter 24, forget not that the motivation for this course is the attainment and the keeping of a state of peace. And when you think about that, when you think about wanting to have peace, wanting to be in peace, wanting to be an instrument of peace, there's so many opportunities to be something other than that. And so when we find ourselves getting pulled away from being in a state of peace, the Course is reminding us that that is all we really need to work toward. Because once you're working toward a state of peace and being in peace, it's easier to be compassionate, it's easier to be loving and kind, it's easier to shift away from perhaps saying something that may be hurtful to something that will be more compassionate. Ooh, this works really well. It says, to learn this course requires a willingness to question every value that you hold. No belief is neutral. Everyone has the power to dictate each decision that you make. So think about that. Every time you make a decision, you have a perception about something, and then you make a judgment based on that perception. It's telling you that it's what you value, what you then value, what you put your faith in. And so what you might be putting your faith in might be something adversarial, you know, the desire to be right at all costs and to argue extensively. It's just so that you can be right and feel right. But the Course is saying, well, that's not very peaceful. It's not going to help you find and attain peace within yourself. But it is showing you what you value. It is showing you where you're putting your faith. So it's saying, love is extension. To withhold the smallest gift is not to know love's purpose. So the smallest gift can be just for you to change your mind about someone or something when you're starting to find yourself being in a state of judgment, a state of unkindness, even if it's just within yourself. Of course, the miracle says there's two parts to a miracle. The first part is a shift in consciousness. The second part is what you do with that shift of consciousness, how you behave, how you talk, how you interact. It says, mistake not the power of hidden warriors to disturb your peace. What are those hidden warriors? Those hidden warriors are the whispers of your ego, the ego that tells you that that person is bad because they didn't do something that would make you happy. They're not speaking in a way that you want them to speak. These little hidden warriors. In the Sufi tradition, they say there's always something going on, and you can look to your right and listen to this voice. You can look to your left and look into this other voice, and you choose which voice you want to listen to. You choose whether or not you want to listen to that hidden warrior that's trying to tell you that Tanzua is a bad person because of something that she did 20 years ago that you're still holding against her. That's the hidden warrior. We need to bring that to the light. Bring it to the light within ourselves and shift our consciousness. So it's an opportunity for us now to think about, you know, who are we holding back our own light? When we hold anything against anyone, we're holding back our own light. So we're trying to wake up and see the light. So we become at the mercy of these little hidden warriors, these little gremlins that are talking to us about others in a way that takes us out of our peace. They are the secret enemies of peace. Your least decision to choose attack instead of love, unrecognized and swift to challenge you, to combat, is far more inclusive than you think, and it's there by your election. So what this means is that we have got to become more vigilant of our own thoughts. We have to be disciplined in that matter. And when we're listening to the song, here's my heart, Lord, here's my life, we're making a dedication. We're making a dedication to doing it differently, to seeing differently, to thinking differently, to responding differently. And so if we're allowing these little hidden warriors to be the final word on how we interact with the world, then we are at their mercy. That's what it's saying. We are at their mercy, as opposed to us rising above and taking the time to step away from the chatter and become the witness to it, become the witness to what it is that's going on in our minds. We become vigilant, even hyper-vigilant at times, especially when we find ourselves getting into argument within ourselves. Did you ever have an argument within yourself? Like you're preparing that argument. You're already combating the part of you that wants to be at peace because you have not yet had your final say. You have not yet gotten to where you feel as though you've been vindicated. And Course is telling us that that's not necessary. What's necessary is your peace. What's necessary is doing that much work, putting that much energy into being at peace, as opposed to being the victim of these little hidden warriors, these little gremlins that are trying to get you to be adversarial, be combative, be judgmental, be angry. It's a little extra work, but it's the work that brings you to peace. It's like changing your diet. If you're eating poorly and you always have a stomachache because you're eating poorly, and you're like, but you're used to it, right? You're used to your fried foods. And you say, well, it would take a little extra work to change my diet, but once I do, I'm going to feel better. Someday I will attest to that when I stop eating cookies, candies, and ice cream. And then I'll tell you how it works. But we know that it does. We know that ultimately, when you make changes that are for the better, there's a little bit of a time where you're uncomfortable with it, and you might have some resistance, but you ultimately feel better. It's the same thing with what we do with our minds and our judgments, our fears, all of that. Takes a little time, takes a little discipline, takes a little work. But you know what? Here's my heart, Lord. Here's my heart. I have a spiritual coach in my brother Jesus, who wrote this book and who's saying, I'm always with you. I'm always with you. And if we're walking on the same path, you will eventually let go of all that other stuff that's just bringing you heartache and pain and a sense of harshness against yourself and against others. So all that is ever cherished as a hidden belief to be defended and unrecognized is a faith in specialness. Now, the way we use the word special, a lot of times we want to make somebody feel good and we say that they're special, but the way the Course is using the word special is a little bit different. It's saying that you have this reserve. Think of the Course's concept of specialness as being this special little compartment that you have reserved for your upset that you want to hold on to, for your upset that you think that you're justified with because it's something that you have not yet found peace with, and so you hold on to it. And maybe you feed it, and you let it grow, and you let it take up space in your heart. The place where it should be soft and filled with love and peace is now filled with this little special spot that you have for your anger, for your upset, and for your resentments. So we're working on letting that soften. It's not a snap of the fingers like all of a sudden it's gone. I wish it was that easy. But it is that discipline, that decision that we make to start shifting away from the power of those warriors, those little gremlins, and to say, you know what, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not. I can take the time away from that voice. I can listen to another voice. One of the ways that I have found to do that, in case you think just, are there little tricks? One way to do it is music. That's one way that you can listen to Here's My Heart, Lord, if you have no other song in your repertoire. But you do. Let me remind you, you do. I went and got 5 years worth of songs for you, and I created a playlist called Music Shares in my YouTube channel. You go to my YouTube channel. It's Rev Lori Cardona. Now, here's what I found. Somebody told me, oh, I went to Rev Lori Cardona and I found this interview you did at the mosque. So it's not just randomly finding me. It's actually going to my channel, the Rev Lori Cardona channel. Subscribe to the channel. You'll find there all the Miracles with a Twist gatherings that we started in live streaming in April of 2020, right before COVID hit, and up to now, all of that's the playlist called Miracles with a Twist. But there's another playlist called Music Shares. And I went for months going through 5 years of notes that I had and I went, whenever there was a video for a song, I put it in that channel, on that playlist. So if you're having a bad day, go to that playlist, hit music shares, and there are 296. There were 298, but 2 of them were doubles. I've removed them. There are 200 at this point. As of tomorrow, there'll be 297. Every week, I will add more songs. Find a song that you want to sing along to and let your spirit shift. I promise you, it will shift you. If you are in an upset and you turn on some spiritual music, and there's a big variety there, because I also put in there the music that I shared during the full moon. So there's Hindu music, there's Sufi music, there's chanting, there's African music, there's Native American music, in addition to the music that we generally play here at Miracles with a Twist. That music, find what works for you. You have 296 opportunities to shift your consciousness through song. Why? Because it's not just the words, it's the vibration. That's why chanting is so powerful. You don't have to know the words when you're chanting, because a lot of times it's Sanskrit. Om Namah Shivaya. You're chanting like, I don't know what I'm saying, but you're chanting and you feel a shift within you because it's vibrational. It's a vibrational shift. There's actually scientific evidence that shows that you can shift your mood through vibration of music. Right? It's the vasodilator, what's that called? That main vasodilator. It's like this main vein that goes through your body. You can shift it and it calms you down. It's my gift to you. It's my gift to you. 296 songs. It's an opportunity for you to practice this work. Just hit the subscribe button. That's all I'm asking you to do. The gods of YouTube want to know that my channel is viable. I don't want it to have to end. Imagine if YouTube shut me down and you'd have no access to anything. So I need subscribers. So subscribe, enjoy the music, and allow it to shift you. Not just your consciousness, but everything within you. Even when we're here on Thursdays and we're blasting, it sounds a lot louder here than it does over there for you. We're blasting, here's my heart, Lord. And at some point, when you guys raise your voices and start singing, I feel a shift within me that brings me to a place of peace and joy that I may not have felt earlier. Maybe I had a bad day. Maybe I quit my job and walked out. Who knows what might have happened today? You don't know, because by the time we get here, we're just singing together. We're praying together. We're praising together. We're in a meditative state. We do that through community, but we can do it on our own. We can do it every day at any day. When those little ego warriors start knocking on your consciousness, you can make that shift. Go to my channel, play some music. Go anywhere and play some music. If you don't like my channel, just go to YouTube and find what works for you. Find that way to shift. And then when you shift, then revisit where you were. Go back to your word. Go back to ground zero. And then find that you have a peaceful heart, a peaceful mind, and you can then interact instead of from a place of anger and upset, from a place of compassion. Tikam Olam. Tikam Olam means the repair of the world, not the entire world, but your world. Repair where you can, what you can, what is within your reach. What is within your reach? Sometimes what is within your reach is a word of kindness. Could be just an act of kindness. When you feel like you want to say one thing and you find yourself saying something less harsh than what is going through your mind. That's repair, because you're repairing the part of you that needs a little bit of a shift in order to come back to peace. Okay, I kind of went off on a tangent there. Okay, now going to paragraph 5. No, let's go to 6. It says, would it be possible for you to hate your brother if you realized that you were like him? Would you attack him if you realized you journey with him and that the goal is the same? Would you not help him reach it in every way you could if his attainment of it were perceived as yours? I love that idea. Because what it's reminding us, and what the Course in Miracles is always reminding us, is that we are not alone. It's by no accident that we're interacting with whomever we're interacting with, and that if we start making our determination to be one of revenge and anger and upset, and making sure we gossip enough so that other people feel poorly about this person too, you're forgetting that they are on the journey with you for you to be the blessing. And then the blessing is within yourself for you. It's what the Buddhists call wise selfishness. Wise selfishness. Because you are going to great lengths to help yourself so that you can be a help of others, and so that because of that you stop putting your energy onto others in a negative way, and you create more peace within yourself. It works when we realize that I am you and you are me. I am you and you are me. So I am on this journey with you. There's this prayer from The Way of Mastery. There's a book called The Way of Mastery that came out after A Course in Miracles. And some people say that it's sort of a continuation. I don't teach from this book because we're very focused here at Miracles with a Twist on A Course in Miracles specifically. But there's this prayer that I came across that I love this so much. And this paragraph where it says, would you attack him if you realize that you journey with him to a goal that is the same? I wanted to read this prayer to you. In this moment, I am going to discover what it means to teach only love. I accept my destiny to walk this earth awake, aware, and at peace, in mastery and not in fear. I begin now. This day, I commit myself to teaching only love by sharing only loving thoughts. I will look upon each one that comes into my experience, and I will breathe in deeply the presence of the Holy Spirit. Then I will look through eyes transformed by the simple acknowledgement of this truth, that all minds are joined. So I do not see a stranger before me, but one who walks as I walk, who feels as I feel, who longs as I long, who is humbled as I am humbled, who prays for peace as I have prayed for peace. And I will give what they seek, and in that giving, I will receive. I'll send that prayer out tomorrow for those of you on my text, my daily text. There is no difference between you and your brother. You have been given to your brother that love might be extended. So interesting to think of it that way, because if we think of it as something that's been given to us, as opposed to saying, oh, why did I have to meet this person? Why did I have to have this experience? If you think of it instead, it's like, hey, this has been given to you. This opportunity has been given to you to be a blessing, to rise above, to be in a disciplined state of compassion and kindness. If you see it that way, then it becomes a little bit easier to say, okay, I think I can go along with that, because I will give what I want to receive, and I will receive what I give. Comparison is an ego device, for love makes no comparisons. Specialness always makes comparison. It is established by a lack seen in the other, and maintained by searching for it and keeping it clear in sight. And this reminds me of politics, like especially when we're in like election seasons, and you have these, what do they call those commercials? Where they're attack commercials, and they want you to know what's bad about that other person and why you shouldn't vote for them. Smear campaigns. Attack ads? Yes, attack ads and smear campaigns. It's like, let me focus on what's wrong, on what's bad, so that you can join with me in thinking that that person is wrong and bad. That's what it's telling us that we do. And I think when we're in election season, we see that so clearly. And then we see how people buy into it. And you go on Facebook and someone says, I got a new cat. And then someone says, oh, well, you must be a Republican or a Democrat. And all of a sudden it became political. Like, how did my cat become an issue for political fighting? Because we're listening to all this anti-other And we start buying into it. We start thinking, oh yeah, we have to be right by making someone else wrong. It says, pursuit of specialness is always at the cost of peace. Who can attack his Savior and cut him down, yet recognize his strong support? Why are we saying attack your Savior? Because everyone has the opportunity to be your Savior. Everyone that is in your life for a moment, even if it's a moment, that person is the opportunity for you to see the specialness that you want to keep separated, as opposed to the love and the light that you can then extend to them, and seeing the light in them, the love in them, and realizing that when I can do that, when I can see this person that I originally had an adversarial relationship with, that I can see them as my brother, then I realize that he is my Savior, because he has helped me to shift away from my state of judgment, from my state of unpeace. Unpeace? Non-peace? Lack of peace? Conflict. You have a function in salvation. Its pursuit will bring you joy, but the pursuit of specialness will bring you pain. To value specialness is to esteem an alien will to which illusions of yourself are more dear than the truth. Oh, ooh, we got called out on that, didn't we? Ooh, Jesus, you just called me out. The special messages, the special here, convince them that they are different and apart. Each in his special sins are safe, and safe from love, which does not see his specialness at all. Christ's vision is the enemy of those who want to be special. And again, remember, I'm not saying special like, oh, you're not wonderful, because you are wonderful, you're beloved, you're special in that way. But it's saying that special separateness, is that allows us to continue to see it as me and them, good guy, bad guy. That's what we're trying to get away from. So when you see something or someone that you find yourself judging, say to yourself instead, here stands my brother with the key to heaven in his hand, and it's held out to me. Here stands my brother with the key to heaven in his hand, held out to me. Think of the loveliness that you will see within yourself when you have looked on him with love. It's work. We work in it. We're working it. We're working it constantly within our hearts, within our minds, within our old ways of seeing and thinking and interacting. We're disciplined. It's not that you're gonna suddenly be walking on water tomorrow. What it means is that tomorrow you have a little bit more awareness of your judgment than you did today. A little more willingness to make a shift than you did today. And every day a little bit more, until you suddenly realize that you have made that shift. Question, comment? Here in this holy place does truth stand, waiting to receive you and your brother in silent blessing and in peace, so real, so encompassing that nothing stands outside. Leave all illusions outside this place to which you come in hope and honesty. Here is your Savior. Your Savior is in need of your acceptance of himself as a part of you, as you are his. You are your brother's part of love, and it was not denied to him. Specialness is the seal of treachery upon the gift of love. Sounds a little dramatic, but I like it. I think it makes sense. Specialness is the seal of treachery upon the gift of love. The key you threw away, God gave your brother, whose holy hands would offer it to you when you were ready to accept his plan for your salvation. The death of specialness is not your death, not your physical death, but your awakening to life eternal. Forgiveness is the end of specialness. Forgiveness is the end of keeping that little compartmentalized spot in you that wants to have the right to continue being the judge and the jury. We're not. We're not the judge and the jury. We're the folks who are doing the work to change within ourselves. Let's see, let's skip around here. Let's go to, we're already on section 3, paragraph 7. Special ones are asleep, surrounded by a world of loveliness they do not see. Did that ever happen to you? Did you ever get so upset about something that you miss out on what's really around you? It's kind of like, I remember years ago, I was on a cross-country train going from Paris to the south of France. And I was just looking out the window because I was just so in awe of the beauty that I was seeing in the landscape. It was just like hours and hours of beauty. And there was a couple within hearing distance of me who was arguing. I don't know what they were arguing about, but you could just tell they were in argument. And I just wanted to say, can you just stop and look out the window? Don't you want to just see this? This is so beautiful. But they missed it because they were in their argument. They were in their upset. They wanted to be right, and they were arguing with each other. And that is what happens to us when we are in our judgment and in our upset, that we miss the loveliness of each other. To be a slave of specialness, we want to be free of that. We want to get free. Such is the will of God and his Son. Would God condemn himself to hell and to damnation? Do you think this is what would be done unto you? No. This is what you do to yourself. This is what we do to ourselves. We put ourselves in a state of condemnation, self-condemnation, because we're condemning others. So we're trying now very gently to stretch outside our comfort zone, to just continuously move those barriers of restricting us into being focused on what our ego has to say, so that we can see more brightly the truth of the countryside of our brothers and sisters. It's like taking a train to the south of France. That's what we have to think of when we're looking at our brothers and sisters. That once we judge them, then we say, no, I'm going to see them differently. Specialness is a lack of trust. That's interesting. It's a lack of trust. You know, there's a part in the Course that says trust would solve all problems now. Because when we're not trusting the process of unfoldment, of spiritual growth, we feel like we have to be in charge, that we have to control it. It goes back to what I've said many times. You know, we all want to serve God, but we want to serve God as his advisors. You know, like this is how we want things to be, and this is how we want others to be. And I think I'd be a lot happier if you would just follow my direction and make the world a little bit better for me. And it just doesn't work that way. We are here to learn the ways of the spiritual world, the ways of Christ consciousness. Comments, questions, anybody?
But it can work that way. It's just, it has to come from the inside out.
From the inside out. That's why we are working on ourselves. We're becoming more aware of what it is that we're thinking, that we're feeling, what we're reacting to, what we're responding to. And so when we heal on the inside.
But God, the thing is, if you're going to look at God as a customer service representative,
right?
What you just sort of did,
right?
But the thing is that if you walk up to a customer service representative and have a sourpuss, you're going to get a sourpuss back.
Yeah.
So Ben is saying God is not our customer service representative. Right. I love that. Right.
But if you do it, I mean, it's so cool. It's that corny thing. You catch more flies with honey than vinegar.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean to overlay. But it begins with how you treat yourself. That's also embedded in the Course too. You know.
The more peace you have within yourself,
the easier it is to walk up to the customer service desk with a smile.
Yes.
Even if you have a bucket full of complaints.
You know, it's about putting that in front of you, putting that out in front of you. You know, I'm walking to customer service. I've got a complaint. You know, but I'm going to put peace on my path. I'm going to put that out in front of me. It's like putting out a red carpet. I'm going to walk this path of peace. I want to walk this path of peace. I remember Edwin Gaines. Does anybody remember Edwin Gaines? She's a Science of Mind speaker, and she does a circuit and stuff. And she tells the story of she had made this commitment to have 21 days with no complaints. She was going to go 21 days with not complaining about anything, and she was going to just, be pleasant no matter what. So she goes on this flight, and she finds out when she gets off the plane that everyone's luggage was lost. Everyone's luggage was lost. And she said, well, I don't know. She had a southern accent. She said, now how am I supposed to not have an upset about that? And so she said she just got on the line, where you had to report, your luggage. And all these people in front of her, everybody's mad and complaining and, yelling at the customer service person. And the more she heard that going on, the more she realized the importance of not being them, not being yet another person who's going to yell and carry on because they lost her luggage. So when she finally got to the counter, she said, she practiced what she had been putting into discipline, and she was pleasant toward that person. She said, I know this must have been hard for you. All these people have been yelling at you, and I just want to give you my name and tell you where my hotel is so I can get my luggage. And the customer service person was just like, oh, thank you. Finally somebody who's not yelling at me, So even if we have that thing of like, how am I not supposed to be upset about this? If we take the time to not be upset about it, then we might find that the interaction is actually much more pleasant. The more we add to the upset, it's almost like a festering. Did you ever have, I remember when I was about 17 years old, I still have a little bit of a scar. It used to be much more pronounced. It was, what's the big scar called? When it's like...
Keloid?
Yeah, it was keloid at one time. It was really big. But over the years, because maybe 20 years have gone by since I was 17. Nobody's calling me out on that one, but that particular lie. But I fell, and my hand went through a window, and it was like torn up. It was because it ripped up, and it was like really very deep. And I didn't do anything about it for a while, and so it created an infection underneath, and that had to be like opened up and cleaned out before it could heal. But had I done something about it when it first happened, it would not have turned into a festering infection. And it's kind of less like us holding on to, Pam has such a look of disgust on her face. It's like, it is a disgusting thought, but it's the same thing as when we hold on to our upsets and our anger. It's like a festering wound. Nobody else is going to come along and say, let me clean that wound out. It's up to us to clean that wound out.
That's a great analogy.
We have to dig deep. We have to say, let me open this up and clean it out. How am I going to clean it out? I'm going to clean it out through doing my spiritual practices. I'm going to clean it out by rising higher, praying harder, singing praises, remembering my ultimate goal, which is to do the repair, where I can, to be peace, to be compassion, to be love, to be more like Ernesto. Just calm, loving, interactive in a way that provides for more peace. Time check.
51.
7:51. Where could your peace arise but from forgiveness? According to the Course, that's the only place where it's going to come from. Because the only reason there is upset, the only reason there's adversarial thinking is from a lack of forgiveness, from something in you that has made a judgment, has locked it in, and has decided that you're right about that, and there's nothing other than your decision to reverse that thinking that will allow you to find some peace. And you reverse that thinking through the decision to be in a mindset of forgiveness for yourself and for others.
Barbara Janetta loves your analogy about me.
Thank you, Barbara. How nice for you to be with us. Barbara from Canada. Canada in the house. Thank you. We love you. The Christ in you is very still. He knows where you are going and leads you there in gentleness and blessing all the way. His love for God replaces all fear you thought you saw within yourself. The Christ in you is very still. The Christ in you is very still. Before your brother's holiness, the world is still. The Christ in you is very still. Before your brother's holiness, the world is very still. Without you, there is a lack. Don't forget that. Without you, without your part, there is a lack in the complete healing of the world. Your brother's holiness shows you that God is one with him and with you, that what he has is yours. Nothing is lost to you at all in the universe. Nothing that God created, he has failed to lay before you lovingly as yours forever. What is that? The opportunity to experience peace, deep peace. Oh, you know, the rest of 24 is really nice. It's a beautiful chapter. I hope that if you're doing the chapter challenge with us, I think we're in chapter 25, but please don't just breeze through 24. It's filled with lovely gems and the kind of thing where you can read a paragraph and then just take a breath and be with it. The Christ in you is very still. The stillness in you is where you find peace. The Christ in you is very still. The stillness in you is where you'll find peace. Let's take a nice deep breath with that. And now, I have a confession. I went to the Lauren Daigle concert without you. I went to the Lauren Daigle concert. Now, Lauren Daigle's the one who sings Here's My Heart, Lord. And last Saturday night, Sunday night, I'm not quite sure what night it was, I went to her concert. It was amazing. And I thought about my Miracles with the Twist family, and I said, oh, if I could only have had all of you with me, and we could have been singing together in the aisles, and it would have just been so. It would have just been so lovely. But I was just sending out my love to all of you, and wishing that we could all have been together. Wouldn't that have been a great field trip to do that together? So I'm sorry that you weren't with me. So what I did to make up for going without you is I'm presenting you with her brand new song. In fact, when she sang it at the BB&T Center, it had not even yet been released. And that's just like a week ago. And the only versions I could find were live versions of people, you know, who recorded it. So just a few days ago, I found it. So I'm so excited to be able to share this with you because I was feeling like we were together anyway, because I love you guys. I love us. I love this time together. And so let's all pretend we're in the concert together and we're all just going, oh, this is nice. This is a nice song. Let's share this. Let's share this together.
Rest my heart at no other home. Let these hands at no other crown. Let these knees fall on no other ground. Drove these eyes from the gold that won't shine. You turn this eye from water to wine. And I dream in your presence. In your presence, you take my breath with every star and night. Show your power in downtown city life. You are taller than the highest of the hills and stronger than the walls we tried to build. You blind me with the beauty of your face and draw me close with your divine embrace. Speak to me with healing in your words and fix the things I didn't know I could. Lord, I tremble, Lord, in your presence, in your presence. Oh, Lord, I tremble. Lord, my Lord. My Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. My Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. To you alone be praised. Oh, who could take the place of who I compare to your love? For everything that you've done, to you alone be praised. Oh, who could take the place of you? What compares to your love? For everything that you've done, to you alone be praised. You invented all of time and space, called the morning and midnight into place, made the mountains and tamed the wildest seas. Well, still you set your holy eyes on me. I will always live in wonder of the fact that I awake your jealous love. Eternity will almost be love. Eternity will almost be love. Lord, I give up in your presence, in your presence. Oh, Lord, I tremble, in your presence, in your presence. Oh, yeah. I will always be the wonder of the fact that I awake your jealous love. Eternity will almost be enough. Eternity will almost be enough. I will always be the wonder of the fact that I awake your jealous love. Eternity will almost be enough. Eternity will almost be enough. Lord, I tremble, in your presence, in your presence. Oh, Lord, I tremble, in your presence, in your presence. Oh, I can't think of my presence. Well, I know I will live there. Oh, in your presence. Oh, I will always be the wonder of the fact that I awake your jealous love. Eternity will almost be enough. Eternity will almost be enough. Oh, I will always be the wonder of the fact that I awake your jealous love. Eternity will almost be enough. Oh, Lord, I tremble.
Yes, that's so good. All right, you forgive me for not taking you? Send me some hearts so I know you still love me. Let's end with this. Father, Mother God, your healing voice protects all things today, and so I leave all things to you. I need be anxious over nothing, for your voice will tell me what to do, where to go, whom to speak to and what to say, what thoughts to think, what words to give the world. The safety that I bring is given me. Father, your voice protects all things through me, and I tremble. I tremble in awe. I tremble in gratitude, and I am so grateful for all of you and for this time together. And I'll see you again next week. God bless you.